So do you mind telling us a little bit about your stories here at Corinth, how you got here, just a little bit of your background here to start off with?
Okay. My name is Heather Hancock, and my husband and I joined Corinth about 11 years ago. We had been attending church in Lenoir at First Presbyterian there, which we liked very much, but we're having a hard time making it to Sunday school in time. And my brother and his wife were here, and so we brought Harper, our son, here, and have been here and pretty active since then.
Cool. Here at Corinth, what is your role? Are you just a member, or what are you involved with here at Corinth?
I serve as a women's Bible study leader on Wednesday night. I'm the head of the board of children's ministry. I'm a member of consistory, and I am in charge of the acolytes at our church. I think if there's anything else. That's about it right now, I think.
So, can you just describe the congregation here a little bit? You're probably really good friends with some people here. Just describe some of the relationships you have here.
Sure.
Inside the congregation.
Okay. Well, first of all, Corinth has grown a ton since Peter and I joined. The contemporary service particularly has grown. The service that's in the sanctuary at 11 o'clock obviously tends to be more traditional, and that's usually the service that we go to. We also knew people that attend the sunrise service at 8:30, which is a combination of traditional and contemporary, and all three of our ministers participate in that service. And then Pastor Bob and Pastor Bill do the 11 o'clock traditional service, and we have Pastor Paul doing the contemporary service. And I think one of the things that I like very most about the church is just because there are people that choose to worship a little differently than we do. I totally respect and embrace how they worship, and really like the differences that we have, and the varying opinions that are at our church. And I think Bob and Paul particularly, and Bill, have just been masterful at making sure that there was never any competition between the traditional service and the contemporary service. I think at some churches that can become very divisive, and their leadership has really prevented that from happening. And I think they really support one another, and that trickles down to our entire congregation.
Cool. So, do you mind describing a few of those different, just what does it look like with the difference of worship? What are some of the differences that you've seen?
Okay. Well, since Sunrise is a combination of the two, Paul and Bob actually tag team as they preach. Neither of them stand in the pulpit. They usually stand on the floor at the front of the church. And there's some contemporary music, there's some traditional music, and then one of them will start the sermon and the other will come in about halfway. The traditional service is just what you would consider a very traditional worship service. There's musical that's a little more liturgical, and we do the Apostles' Creed and the Lord's Prayer every week, and then Pastor Bob preaches. And like I say, I just think it's what you would expect from a traditional church. The contemporary service is more informal, and the music is certainly contemporary and is up on the screens, and it's that way in the sunrise service as well some of the time, but in traditional service we usually sing from the hymn books. Paul's very energetic, and he illustrates his sermons a lot with stories, and is wonderful. They're all very knowledgeable of the Bible and just share in a different way. And we do every fifth Sunday, our church worships as a whole body, and we generally do that in the sanctuary just because there's a little more space, but we have done it in Bost Hall several times just to enjoy that new facility.
So what do you think the focus is here? What do you say, maybe a word or two, if you can say a word and then just, kind of go with it. What do you think the focus is of the congregation of the church?
I think it's to bring people to Jesus Christ, ultimately. I think our ministers are just so demonstrative about doing that themselves, and they talk a lot about us witnessing to other people too, and I think it's there's a lot of energy towards witness right now.
So how have you seen, what are some examples of how the church has done that?
Well, just Saturday we had an Easter egg hunt, and we never want to limit something to just our church body. We always try to include other people. We put signs out front to sort of advertise. We do that with a Halloween trunk or treat as well, because we feel like if we can get the kids to come, it'll draw their parents as well. We also have a photograph ministry where we invite needy families to come to our church, and we have volunteers come and take pictures of the families, which has really worked well, and I think it's grown. I think last year we did like 65 families maybe. There are several people at church that I think are involved with Lenoir-Rhyne as well. People here are involved with Young Life. I think what else? And then we just support tons of local ministries, either financially or have volunteers from our church that participate in their programs, like the Soup Kitchen, Safe Harbor is a women's ministry that lots of people at Corinth support. Habitat for Humanity, and we go on mission trips several times a year. We have a group that leaves Monday morning, I think, for Guatemala.
Well, thank you for your time.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
Was that okay?